Welcome back to Secrets of the Opposite Sex. I'm your host, Tasha Ray, and tonight we're going to get into what dating is like in major cities. Me personally, it's some BS, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let me introduce these three dope souls that are joining me tonight. Let's start with this familiar face, my guest host last season. Hey, T.
It is I, Terrell, your local neighborhood terrorist. If you are familiar with this program, you know that I was the former co-host of last season, which also means that anything liable to come out of my mouth tonight, not the views of my employer. So buckle up.
Indeed, buckle up. And then we have Miss Kari, who's no stranger to the show either. She was one of our guests on season 1. Welcome back, Kari.
Hi, everybody. I am Kari. I'm 38 and I live in that. Oh, and I'm single.
Come on, single.
I'm single.
Okay.
And last but not least, we have our newcomer. Hey, Jodi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm Jodi. I am 36 and I live in New York.
We're going to pull questions from the app Secrets of the Opposite Sex, and we're going to talk about some things. So the first question up is, did you have any expectations of what dating would be like before you decided to move to a big city, the big city that you now reside in? And has it lived up to the hype, or has it fallen short, or?
I feel like Atlanta back in the day was lit. Like you could have a date every single day of the week. I mean, you still can, but the quality has definitely went down. I lived in Chicago. Yeah, we ain't even gonna talk about that one. But moving back to Atlanta, I had such high hopes because I was thinking like, oh, it's really gonna be the same. And no, I honestly feel like social media kind of ruined it, as well as transients. Atlanta was a beautiful place when it was just us. Even though I'm a transient, but I'm really from Atlanta, so whatever.
Yeah, you've been there so long. You basically from
I
that.
know people always be like, "You're from Atlanta, girl." I'll be like, "Okay."
What about y'all? How y'all feeling about New York City?
Ooh, where do I start?
Girl.
Where to start? Oh my gosh. So with me, I was born and raised in Kingston in Jamaica, and I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine. I moved to America, and I used to hear people say dating day. I'm like, what's dating? Because in my culture, in my community, like say me and Terrell, like say you like me and I like you and we're talking, we're trying to figure it out, that I know somebody else or trying to get to know Tasha at the same time, that would be seen as cheating, and that's grounds for dismissal. So when I came to a big city, I'm like, okay, so I have to learn new rules, how this thing works. It's a lot.
Just piggyback on everything you just said, 1000% agree. As I failed to mention in my intro, I'm 31 years old. I am also here in the New York of the goddamn city. And there was a certain expectation I had upon moving here. It is a concrete jungle, so many different people, vibes, and personalities. But what that also means is too many motherfuckers are available. Now, what I mean by that is the attention span of both myself and every other person that's just out here dating is we gonna talk to everything because everything is available. That's a little frustrating for me. I can only key so many cars, so I don't. It's you can't talk to me and everybody else because I know they taught to getting their cars keyed. It's like it's me or nobody else.
And I feel like that's where I am, and that's where I've always been. And being in New York, that's not how it is. You have to, the culture is to date around, date until you find the perfect fit. This I've been told. And it's just me, or I don't know if it's my ADD. I can't focus on, I can only focus on one person at a time. I'll give you my undivided attention. I'll let you show me what's going on with you. I'll give you my undivided attention. I'll expect yours. And if I see that it's divided, I can't. That's just me personally.
Have you had any success stories? Like anything? Nothing.
Oh, well, in college.
Okay.
And then I had something after college, but then it wasn't a situation where I'd go, "Hey, Tasha, this is my man." I wouldn't introduce him at that. So I guess what you call that, a situationship?
Real
Yeah,
bad. Yeah.
yeah, a
Sick of
situationship.
us. I feel like that's all anybody want to give out these days. No real titles. Okay, so next question. Can you share a memorable story or experience that highlights the unique aspects of what it's like to date in a major city? Like, for instance, like I frequently thought to myself, like, this is some New York shit right here. Many a times after like going on dates with some of these fools, like this is very special to New York City. Just, yeah.
I
I'm
guess
gonna just jump right in because I'm triggered.
I'm triggered, child.
This is a lot more recent than I'd like to admit. About a week ago, met a young, delectable soul on Tinder. Delectable.
Mhm.
I was then invited to, as our first date, drinks. Very easy. Let's knock that on out. The venue, upon approaching, lots of balloons are present. This is a private residence. It was a rooftop sitch. I'm like, okay, cool. Private rooftop situation isn't exactly ideal for the first date, but let's figure it out. Proceed into the elevator, press the R button, head on upstairs. It is the baby shower of his new baby mama.
Stop it. What?
What? No, it's not.
Beautiful woman. I mean, gorgeous girl. Whoever planned the party, I'd like to get the information. A beautiful setup. DJ, pop in. Why am I here?
Was this a friend baby?
This was his baby.
well,
I
maybe
know,
maybe
but were
they
they like
They
friends
friends
or
or
were
were
they
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 like,
like,
they,
I didn't
they
get
had
that
a
part asked because I'm like, what's going on?
that is wild that you gotta
So,
ask that these days. Like, were you in a relationship? Or y'all like together? Or were y'all
like, where are y'all?
like
I
two
mean, because
people that
now
don't have a baby?
I should work under the assumption that because I was invited, maybe they are friends.
because I was gonna say that he would be one bold motherfucker to.
But that's what New York City give you.
Yeah,
You just don't know.
that would be some
that's
real New
crazy.
York City shit there. Yep.
You
Yeah.
just have no idea. So the person that I am, I'm not gonna ask too many questions. I'm gonna go have a drink, do a little ditty in front of the DJ, and then I'm gonna say I have to go to the bathroom and then never see me again. So,
Get you some baby shower meatballs real quick.
I mean, I'm like, I would have bought a gift and everything had I known.
No, I wouldn't.
That is
I feel
wild.
like they need to get his car key because that deserves a car. Maybe they were trying to like, he was trying to tell you without like, maybe he didn't know how to tell you, like, hey, I have a baby on the way,
By inviting
but
him to his
inviting you to
door.
that is egregious and
Yeah,
disrespectful.
because that could be true, and he has no real right to tell me that upon first meeting. So
You don't think so?
I think so.
I think so.
Yourself as
You can
single?
tell me that day one. Like, do you got kids?
Right. That's
that's
something
true.
I would
Right.
ask. Right.
Because I don't
He,
know. Because if he would have been like, yeah, actually, she's 7 months pregnant, you'd have probably been like, I'm a holler at you.
Right.
exactly.
That's crazy.
You sure they weren't trying to like maybe go half on a baby type situation? I've heard that's
That's what I'm saying. Is it like a friend baby?
like
I feel like if it was that easy, that would be easier to bring up, right?
No.
What did he say
No,
anything to you?
What did he
Like,
say?
no.
He just brought you up there like, hey, this
I'm
is
thinking we going to the Buffalo Wild Wings and we at homegirl baby shower.
the
oh,
same day he went on a date with
Like
you.
this
And this
is
is supposed to be a date.
yes, this is we're meeting up. Let's meet up at this location. Now I didn't do he didn't say we were meeting at a restaurant or this. He just said, "Hey, come to this rooftop thing." I'm
We
like,
went
I
to
didn't know I was
restaurant.
gonna be on the pink carpet today.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry. I definitely can't top that one. I thought I could, but no.
what you got, Kari? I know you got some stories.
I mean, I think as of recent, I feel like I'm not going through anything that anybody in the next city isn't going through. Meeting a lot of men that are, going through their discovery phases. They don't really want to date, but they want to date, but they don't want to date you seriously. You're a good woman, but I'm not ready. Things like that, which it can get a little out of hand. I just recently, Lord, I hope he doesn't watch. I do, but I don't. But anyway, like it's a lot of guys. It's almost like they hate women in a sense. And I'm like, baby, I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't have time. I don't have the patience to argue with you. These dudes, I think Kevin Samuels really put a battery in their backs. And it's just like, why must you want to be combative all the time? And then it's like how they come at you, they shouldn't. Because most of the time it's just like, you don't even make the type of money to talk to me like that. So, or to have these kind of demands that you have. For instance, and I don't care if he watches. It was a guy, and he was just like, "Well, do you think that your husband is you're going to be the last person that your husband sleeps with?" I was just like,
What?
"Yeah." And he was just like, "Well, biologically, men are not loyal, or that's not how they were supposed to be." And I'm thinking to myself, like, if that was the case, me being the Christian that I am, that's why God made Adam and Eve. He didn't make Adam, Eve, Tanya, Jessica, Ashley. He didn't make all those. And then if we want to take it a step further, we want to talk about Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark had two of each. He didn't have six. It was two. So I'm just like, boy, shut up talking to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like he was so combative. And it was like he just really wanted to get his point across. And I was like, you're not going to get your point across with me, because I said what I said. And I stand on that. So I feel like I'm coming into contact with a lot of Kevin Samuel Juniors. And that to me is highly unattractive. And a lot of times when these guys are saying things like, oh, well, I could pull a chick that's in her 20s. Well, she don't like you. She don't like you. And all she want to know is how much money you make, because I was there in my 20s. I was there. We know what it's like to be there. So it's just like that's not a flex.
Why would you want to pull somebody in their 20s?
Because they want to control. It's
Exactly.
controlling a lot of times. And they think they don't want to date women that have a mind of their own, or their own in general. Like it's like they say so many contradictory things that they want out of a relationship. Like, oh, I want her to be polyamorous, but I also want her to have, be cooking and cleaning and doing all this. Baby, you have to pick a struggle. You got to pick a struggle. You either want the new age woman, or you want the old school. So I think I'm coming into guys that it's a lot of clickbait that they're listening to, and they're only listening to snippets of that whole time. Those people, if you actually go into their lives, they probably have wives,
Exactly. Every
children, and
time.
everything. It's just like you just don't get it, do you? Like, you're really falling for the clickbait, and they're living their happy lives and their happy relationships, and you're miserable by you going on dates and regurgitating the little snippet that you heard that really is ignorant. So I think that's what I'm coming across in Atlanta, but I'm also hearing about that in other major cities. So I don't think it's just an Atlanta issue.
It's everywhere, child. It's everywhere.
I met this dude through a mutual friend. And we decided we're gonna go to a restaurant. So immediately told me, like, he would only be covering my first drink, and anything after that is on.
So
that happened to me.
Yeah, so, and he said it when we ordered the drink and the waitress brought the drink. He had his, I had mine, and I said, I said, guess what? You don't even have to cover this one. So got up with my glass with my little straw, put down the equivalent for my drink and a tip, and I was out. I didn't even say, hey, I'm leaving. Nice to meet you. Thank you. No, sir. To piggyback off what you were saying, like certain stuff with men, I just have no patience for it. I'm too old. If I see it's going in a direction, red flag, I'm checking out and I'm looking for the exit.
The boldness of, like,
for you to even sit in my face.
Those be the main ones who got expectations of what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Oh,
and you can't even pay for a meal, something that I do for myself in various countries.
Terrible.
A meal. We're talking about a meal. A
That
meal.
sounds very similar to what happened to me. This guy, actually, this is when I was just playing Russian roulette on the apps and met this guy. And I was like, oh, he went to fam, da 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 da, because I am a rattler. Hello. But anyways, he picked the day, he picked the restaurant, everything. And I mean, I got dressed. I'm talking about I'm wearing baccarat, like nice. I was looking very good to the point where I know I was looking good because when I was walking through the restaurant, people was looking left and right. I'd be like, what are you doing with him? But we sat down and it's just like, he was ordering. And then the lady was just like, oh, would you want appetizers? No. Okay. Then ordered the meal or whatever. Ordered the meal, ordered the drink. Then dessert comes. Oh, would you like dessert? No. I was like, no. I just wanted to see if they had some creme brulee.
Right, something that you like.
So the lady, she was just like, oh, so she brings out the check. He was like, oh, 2 checks, please. I said, "Oh, okay, cool."
Oh,
It really didn't bother me because I knew that that was gonna be the last. Even when I walked in, I was like, "Ooh, no." He's a total Monet. He must have been using pictures from 10 years ago. It was not my vibe. But, my mama said, "God bless the child that has her own," and I do. So I was writing, doing my check, cashing out, and calling my Uber at the same time. I mean, and then I was like, "Oh, you don't have to wait on me." He was like, "What do you mean I don't have to wait on you? Of course I'm waiting on you. Don't try to be a gentleman now, sir." I mean, so he's walking behind me. I'm trying to walk fast in my heels to the car. And I get in the car. He was just like, oh, let me know when you make it home or whatever. I'm talking about it was like, sir, let me get this door shut. You hear me fast. And the lady was just like, oh, I thought he was getting in. I said, ma'am, I don't know where he's going, but he ain't going nowhere with me. She was just like, oh, what happened? I was like, do you know I had to pay for my own date? And then she stopped the car. She was just like, oh my God. She was like, first of all, you are absolutely gorgeous. He is an idiot. And then it was so funny. I literally, as soon as we turned the corner, I definitely unmatched with him. There's nothing else to discuss. And then he tried to like bend the block again and try to like me again. I was like, sir, find you some business.
See right
Find you some
there,
business.
that's what I'm telling you about right there. You were nice right there when he said 2 checks. I would have been like, I'm going to the bathroom, pay for my check, pay for my bill up there.
I should have. I should have. Because
I'm
the
not
waitress
talking to you
even looked
after
like
that. There's nothing else for me to say to you. I'm not talking to you after that.
nothing, nothing. I
There's
was
nothing
just
else for us to talk about. I don't even want to look at you.
not at all.
Before we broach the next question, I have to make a very political statement. Men, my fellow men, if you broke, just stay home. You don't have to be actively trying to date people broke. It's all right to stay home. It's all right to grab a cup of coffee. It's all right to take a walk in the park. Not with me personally, but I mean, if that's something that you feel like you can swing, cool. Because when you get in those positions where I can't order a mozzarella stick because you have decided that there will be no appetizers today. Now we have an issue. Now I don't want to talk to you no more. That's a lot to do with.
Right.
Yeah.
So stay home.
Please
Yeah.
stay home.
Facts.
Please.
Yeah.
I wasted a good dress, good
Makeup.
perfume. Yes, good
You
makeup.
No
make sure your
time.
hair
Like
is dragging.
time, everything. And that was just to the point where it's just like, first of all, I mean, yes, I have it, but at the same time, you didn't even he was saying, oh, well, I found this restaurant. What do you feel about this one? Okay, cool. You just should have led with, hey, on the first date, I like to go Dutch. You don't spring that on somebody once the check comes. You know what I mean? Like, and if that's the case, I would have ordered my appetizer. Okay. I
Right.
would have
That's what I'm
ordered the
saying. You're
next
paying
one.
for it anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
I would have ordered dessert. Like, you're not going to be in control of what. I
Right.
would stop with that one.
How you not paying and then you're gonna tell me what to order?
Right.
But I was just like, I mean, I should have known because I felt like I was the first, like maybe Black girl. Maybe he might have been trying to date Black women. Because he was just telling me like
Was white?
he was Black, but
Oh.
he had been married 3 times to Latin Mexican women. And he was actually in town for a bachata conference. I should have known then. I should have known. Like, girl, he don't like your type. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorrow,
I touched on a
sorrow.
couple things that we gonna talk about too. I got some questions for about some of that.
Okay.
Follow. So, do you find it easier or more difficult to meet people that you're interested in dating in person, or
For
do you feel like
me,
you have to like resort to other ways of, meeting people?
in a perfect world for me, I would love to meet somebody in person. I want to see you. I want to look at you. I want to feel that energy. I want to,
Hmm.
in a perfect world, that would be my perfect scenario to meet somebody outside, anywhere, on the plane, in the airport, anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like it's so difficult. It's so difficult today. Specifically, I will preface like my last relationship, I did meet him in person. We met in like this kind of house party situation, which is kind of ideal. Then kind of because then I can feel your vibe. I know how we click.
Mhm.
Versus if we're talking online or whatever, and then you show up and you don't look anything like what you look like, and then in which case, good day. But it's where I don't understand where people are meeting. Like even in my nightlife, when I go out to the clubs, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, I really like this person. Half the time, I'm throwing that ass in a circle. I can't really talk, so it ain't. I don't understand where people are meeting in person.
I feel like the pandemic
Bars.
kind of did a number on New York City because I just feel like the places that did exist that I felt like were consistent and you knew you were going to meet somebody that had some sense that was about something, I feel like those are the places that just didn't make it. And then now it's just, I don't know, it's a bunch of random things. Like you got to wait for it to be like a really big event. Like I got to wait for a holiday weekend to maybe like stumble upon somebody. And just my luck,
Mhm.
I'm gonna stumble upon the people that are visiting. They don't even live here. So like it's tricky to find.
Yeah, that's another thing with New York too. That's so hard. Is like because New York is such a tourist city, you meet all of these people who are only here for a week, who are only here for 2 weeks at a time, and then of course you meet Mr. Right, and he like bet the conference over next Thursday. Like, so I'm like, well, how are we supposed to get married by then? I don't really know that. I
What
don't
is
really.
I mean, I feel like Atlanta is so many people, but I feel like I come across the same thing. It's so many people passing through. We have the largest airport, so it's just like it's so many people all the time. Ideally, I would love to meet somebody outside, but I just feel like I don't really be wanting to go. I be outside, but I feel like it's a struggle. Like I don't want to be outside. I wish he would literally knock on my door and be like, "Hey, I'm your man."
what do
Like,
you say?
like I want that. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I feel like during the pandemic, that's when it was like the app boom and things like that. My sister, she is a product of a pandemic relationship. She's now been with her boyfriend. They live together. I have another friend, she met her husband on Bumble and they got married. She's now pregnant. I'm like, oh, so maybe that can happen for me. So it's like you try to, scale as far as dating, but I just feel like I don't know what y'all was doing, or maybe I am too picky on the apps too. So I'm just like, mm-mm. I
I
mean,
mean,
and then
you're
it's just
allowed to
like,
be.
yeah, like my filter game crazy. Like I don't play around. Like if you ain't Christian, sorry. I'm not about to play with nobody who agnostic, Jewish, Muslim. Shout out to y'all, but no, baby. We got to go to church together. So it's like I don't, I want you within a certain, miles. Like I don't want you across the US and stuff like that. I recently was dating a guy that was all the way in Seattle. Like that's crazy. Like that didn't work out. But whatever, I gave it a good college try. I did. But it's just ghetto.
I saw I was gonna ask next, like about okay, so if you can't meet people in person, it sounds like everybody's had an experience with dating apps. Like, do you feel like the dating pool is better because you're in a major city, or do you feel like it's just equally boo-boo, like no matter where you are? Because I feel like during the pandemic was the only time that the apps were apping. They ain't been working
How
since.
come nobody told me to get on the app in the pandemic?
Girl, well, what was you
Um,
doing in the pandemic then? Because that's all I was doing. Met me somebody done had me a pandemic boo the whole time
Being depressed and
that took me together.
working out because I didn't want to get fat. I wasn't on no app. Nobody told me. Nobody said, "Hey, get on the app."
It was that, and what was the one little the chat where everybody was like in the group chat? I forget what was it called?
Oh, I know what it's not
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yes,
Ah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
people
I
were
did that
the
a few
apps and
times.
Clubhouse was the only thing keeping us
Yep.
going.
people were like, were people dating on Clubhouse?
Oh
Yeah,
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 people was
Yeah,
transferring. They was.
yeah.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
on there.
put you up to the front, okay, put you on the stage or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's news to
Actually
me.
fun. I enjoyed Clubhouse a little bit.
It's difficult because apps are so. I will say that I am. I guess I'll just go ahead and say I'm picky too. Because I think you are allowed to be on apps. There's so many different things that you're going to run across, right? Like the app streets is are wild. You're gonna see some wild shit, you're gonna hear some wild shit. So if anything, I think it might strengthen what it is you don't want. There's so many options, and it's just, my app game is just like I just see what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I am picky, but I'm like, at this point, what's good?
I'm
I'm
glad you
available.
sound like me because I thought I was doing it wrong. A couple of my girlfriends, I would look at like they would pull up their Hinge account to show me a guy that they're talking to or whatever, and I look at all their matches and their messages, and I'm like, my God, why do you have like 5,000 matches and 5,000? That's
Because some
a lot.
people
I got like
just
two.
need to be safe.
Like I couldn't even find that many people to match with. I'm just
Mhm.
fascinated by like who you talking to? Like who are you talking with? Like asking the questions. Like
Everybody, that's the thing. It's a free for all. Some of them, they will just match with anybody and everybody and go on date. I can't do that. I'm not made up like that. I'm not doing that in real life, and I'm not doing that on the apps either. Like you
I,
have to say something that's going to intrigue me some way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, yeah, I think last time when I was on the show, I was talking about one guy who drove me to therapy. I met him on the apps too. It's my boo, but whatever.
I'm gonna say drove you to therapy. That's sickening. Um,
I have a confession.
Oh Lord, you really on the apps, ain't you, girl?
I've never tried the app.
Oh my gosh.
I
When you get
know.
off of here, you need
Huh?
to go and make you an app.
Yeah, I've never tried it.
Because
it's
I feel
very
like and don't let
disorienting.
anybody try to make you feel bad for being on the apps. Because there's some people like, oh, I don't, I'm not on the
No,
app.
it's not that. It's just like I, I, I already have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have a Snapchat that I don't use. I don't want to build something else.
But this is specifically for dating. And I guess if it has to go back into what is your goals. If you just want to be just, then sure, keep what you have. But I feel like, the Tinders, the Hinges, the Bumbles, those are specifically for dating. To me, I feel like it's kind of weird when guys come at me on Instagram and are trying to date me, but I have to understand that that's
I'd
another
prefer
avenue.
that. I'd prefer that because I'm already on there.
Right,
I
I
could,
get it.
I could scroll through their thing if they're not private and stuff, and I can see what's going on. I think I'd prefer that because I already have it. And
And see me, I don't give out my social media on dating apps because I feel like at that point you're not getting to know me for me.
mm,
You think you know me, so you want to just follow whatever I got going on. Baby, I'll block you. So the answer is just no. Or they're like, oh, do you have Instagram? No, I don't. Actually, I got off of it.
I actually support that because it's my Instagram and my dating profile are two totally different things,
Exactly.
and you also don't know me, so you don't get to follow what I'm doing all the time, and
mm.
like no, no.
I would look at it like you don't know every single person following you on Instagram. There's some people you just there that are following that you don't know you.
That is
Think I
true. However, those people also aren't on my dating profiles. So
No.
they see my social life and what I got going on in this aspect, but I ain't trying to date them.
Mm-mm.
So
That's not
mm,
that's
what I'm here for.
yeah, that's a different
I'm here for
world.
shits and gigs on Instagram, baby. That's
Shits and
it.
gigs. What's popping?
Okay. That's it. The dating app, no, I want to know like what are your goals? What's your purpose in life? What's your dog's name? I want to know the deep side of things. I'm not trying to get to know no deep stuff on Instagram, baby. I'm there for memes,
I have a I have
all
a
the
funny
foolery.
I have a funny story on that. So there's this guy, and I think he's been following me for a while too. he's always told me he's interested. Like, and I think I follow him back always, but I never really took him serious. I'll just be like, oh, okay, all right, thank you. And I posted this thing in my story. If a guy's interested in her, they have to write a 500-word essay to date her.
I saw that.
You saw that? So I reposted it in my story. Can I tell you that he came in and he's like, what's your email address? And again, he's been following me for maybe more than 2 years. I'm like, why you want my email address? He's like, can I just have your email address? I have something to say. He sent me an essay.
Girl, that's cute, but now that Chat GPT.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm like,
it sounds cute, but it's cute. I appreciate the effort. However, sir.
That's how I felt. I was like, oh, he's trying.
But yeah.
And he's asked a million times.
I know he's full of shit. I was just on Chat GPT today. I know he full of shit.
Look, he thought he was doing something. It's like, no, sir, but I tried.
Oh,
That thing and change the game, Chad.
Okay, for everything.
I don't know. I always feel like things happen to other people and they never happen to me. Like when other people would meet people on Instagram and they would act like it was so easy. And I'm like, is it? Like, because I'm like, usually 99% of the time, people that are coming at me in my DMs are going to be talking to themselves, But the guy that I'm dating now, I actually met him that kind of way. So I guess it can
on Instagram?
Yeah, I guess I don't know how we came to follow each other, but I know we followed each other for some years before we said anything to each other. And it just kind of evolved from a joke about travel because we both were traveling a lot. And you know how you start throwing little hearts and like stuff on stories and you start, noticing each other. It was kind of one of those little situations and then it evolved into a little conversation.
I think that that's so interesting because I can accurately say today, I have never met anybody on Instagram, which I think is, I guess, a little bit funny because back in the day in my younger years, everyone I was meeting was on Facebook. And it was like kind of just by random ass friend requests that I was sending. And then, but I don't adapt like the same mindset now. Like Instagram just feel like an odd ass place to meet people these days because you just, not only do you not know what not you don't know what their intentions are, but like she said, shit giggles. Like I don't know how to meet nobody on Instagram. I'm gonna just like that picture and then keep on scrolling. And I'm assuming you're gonna do the same.
No. It's so funny. I had a guy and I wasn't following him, but he was following me. And I happened to be out one time and he was like, Kari. And I was looking at him like, I was looking around like maybe somebody else's name is Kari because I don't know this man. And then he was like, oh, so you don't know me? And I'm like, I don't. I was like, who are you? He was like, oh, on Instagram. And then he pulled his name up and then I had to go to the request DMs see he was having conversations with himself. And I'm just like, bruh, I don't know you. You know me. And he was just telling me things about myself, like, oh, I know you like Hennessy and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that to me was extremely weird to me. Like, if we don't really interact, maybe you don't know me for real, which is why he probably felt like I was playing him. But I'm like, you don't know me. So why would you even go the distance to even call my name out like that? That was
I
wild.
would love for you to sign here this restraining order that I have taken out.
Seriously.
What?
I'm like, who is he talking to? But still, maybe there's another one.
Yeah.
I would have been shook.
It was kind of scary. It was like spooky. I was like, I can imagine how like celebrities feel. Like, I mean, even when, what's her name? And she was just like, don't be calling me Carisha. Carisha.
Right.
Like Carisha. And she'd be like, no, it's young Miami. It is young Miami because y'all don't know me. That's weird.
Agreed. That made me think of too, when guys that maybe if you came at me right, maybe. But when you just say little vague stuff like, I'm in New York City tonight.
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't
have
you
fun.
want me to do with that? I'm like, have fun.
I get that often.
Have a good
I'm in
time.
your city.
I'm going to this party tonight and like name drop and all this kind of stuff.
Don't care.
Okay, again. what am I supposed to do with that? I can't stand. Be direct.
God.
What is your purpose in being in my DMs? What's the goal? Let's hop to it. Why are you just telling me things and thinking that I'm just gonna automatically just invite myself? Or why is that my job if you fell into my DMs initiating some stuff? Like, if you gonna initiate, follow through. Go the distance. Or just
Right.
Baby, I will send you an Eventbrite link so fast and say, LOL, have fun.
Right.
Enjoy. I give you a recommendation. I'm gonna give you something to do because it ain't finna be me. So be blessed.
it's just the
Enjoy
way
your
Everyone to be blessed.
Enjoy your night. Google works for everyone. Figure something. Google something.
And
Ooh.
don't come in my city. Oh, I'm in your city. Where do I go have brunch? Yo, is it fun?
You know, it's so interesting. I actually had to get because I don't do stuff like that, but I did get checked by this one guy. It wouldn't be like, hey, I'm in your city. It would be like, oh, hey, I'm here. I would like to see you. And he would be like, okay, well, had you told me this, 72 hours ago, I would assume that your intention was a little bit more pure. But it's like, also, you don't actually have to just hit me up whenever you just randomly popping up for my city to work. It's like, you can just call me on a regular night and we can talk.
Right.
We can make proper time to see each other. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit my ass down.
He got you because I mean, no, that's real. Like I always say, like, don't hit me when you touch down because I'm not about to move mountains to try to hang with you because I wasn't the reason why you came. So I don't give a damn that you're here. No, I'm not about to get up and see you. I don't care how long you're going to be here. I'm not about to give you no recommendations to go eat X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Do
Google.
you, boo? Whatever you came here to do, or
right.
asking me what to do. What did you come to Atlanta for?
That part.
Weirdo. So I just be making me want to block, baby. My block list be crazy. It's a whole block party. Like, I'm like, I don't have time for it. Disturbing my peace.
All right. So before we get into the red flag game, one last question. What advice would you give to newcomers in your city who are looking to navigate the dating scene successfully?
I feel like
Don't.
it's your age.
What am I gonna tell him?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, Jodi, in the cycle of the way that the apps are set up, the way that it starts, it's the same cycle. When you new to an app, pop in. Everybody go hit you up. Why? New face, new me. Who is this? So when you sign up, you gonna go off. You gonna go off.
Say Jodi, new here. Ooh.
You gonna go off.
Don't be fooled either because guys are gonna have their profile say new here, but people just delete their app and then they come back on. They're not actually new, baby. They've been on since '88. So don't be fooled by that.
Not 88. No.
They really do. They really do that. They really do that.
I've done that a few times too, but I really do delete the apps though, because
in my bio it say new-ish to NYC.
New-ish.
But I actually had a friend from high school recently moved here, and she kind of asked me about like, what's the dating scene like? Because she was moving from like Utah. And I was just, I know, right? But she had been in Utah for years. She hadn't been back in Atlanta. She was just like, what is it like? I was like, girl, it's so different. And I was just like, just don't come here with any expectations. And I was just like, make sure that you go out and you're social, but don't have any high expectations about these men out here. So I think that's kind of like the best advice that I feel like I could give someone that is new. But she's in her early 30s. I mean, I feel like it depends on what age you are because
I think that's pretty solid advice.
Yeah, like what's your vibe? What are you looking for? Again, the expectations, because that's another thing with New York. There's something for everybody here. It depends, what's your interest. Is it lounge? Is it clubbing?
Yeah. What phase are you at in your life? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jodi, don't get on the app though, girl. Don't do it. Cause woo.
Get on the app.
Don't do it.
Get on the app. I
They
agree.
Don't do it.
They just
Don't.
gonna play with you. And it's always the guys that just live on the app. Like it's guys that just been they never every time you get up there, it's the same mugs up there. It's just like, bro, you've been up here a century. You ain't found nobody? Nobody? Yet? Like
Might
Yo,
be the
but
one
I be
that
like, yeah,
you.
I be feeling the same way though. I be like, damn, I was off this for about 6 months and I'm back. And these motherfuckers
Same,
still up
same
here.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? And then I'd be like, but damn, shit, me
Mm.
too.
Or it's the people that be like, now this is the disrespect. When you're on there and they're like, oh, are you a catfish?
mm,
Excuse me? Like, oh, you're too pretty to be on here. I don't know if that's like they just trying to spit game or whatever. But
I think that's
actuality, I did meet a guy. We're cool now, but he was like, oh, I saw you on the app. He was like, I really thought you were a catfish. He was like, I saw your profile. That's how he approached me in public. He was like, I saw your profile on the dating app. And he was like, I thought you were a catfish. I was like, really?
not good.
And he was just like, I just wouldn't expect anyone like you to be on the app. I was like, ooh, way to turn that knife. Like I was like, that's wild. But I've gotten that a few times, and that makes me want to just be like, you know what? God, come on with the rapture because
We're
at this
ready.
point, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Come on.
let's play the red flag game. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
read you out 5 scenarios, and you guys just let me know if it's a red flag for you. But since we're talking about the big city dating, I figure I would compile some red flag questions based off of some common occurrences that I've experienced, because I want to see how y'all feel about them. First up, is it a red flag if you're dating someone who exhibits rude or disrespectful behavior to others, but they always treat you well?
That's definitely
Yes.
a red flag.
Yeah.
Because I want you to be nice. Like if we're in a restaurant and I feel like these are kind of like New York type guys, which I have a thing about them. Like sometimes they can be a little bit too rah rah rah, and I don't like that. But I wouldn't like anybody to be rude to like a waitress or any kind of wait staff or something like that, but treat me like a queen. Like you need to treat everybody with respect, do unto others. So
Mhm.
yes, that's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Big red flag.
I created signs that I left on the other side of the room. And I'm like, damn, my yes sign is across my bed. But hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a difference between being rude and, not being friendly. There's a big difference. If you're rude, like you said, to wait staff, to people in the service industry, yeah, that's a red flag.
At some point, that's going to be directed towards
That's
me.
going to be right. I'm going to be like, what am I going to do to piss you off? And I'm going to feel the wrath of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mama got to feel a wrath for this brick to her Toyota.
There you go. Always trying to dismantle somebody car. Okay, would it be a red flag if the person you're dating is interested in polygamy, so they want you to be one of their multiple partners?
Yes.
Here, everybody wants to be polygamous these days.
It's so interesting because I think that social media has kind of fucked up what we consider. People confuse polygamy, or they use polygamy as an excuse to be fake progressive. And it's like, I do understand wanting to be progressive, but progressive don't have to be, hey, you're going to be with me and 3 other people. Unfortunately, I have not, as tired as I am of dating in the big city, I have not stooped down to, I'm going to deal with everybody else. I can only ruin so many cars. I've said this before. Like, it's too, I know, no, it's going to never work. So it's a red flag.
That's a bright red flag. And I feel like going back to the guy that was asking about, oh, well, do you think your husband is going to be the only person that you sleep with that sleeps with you? Yes, I do. Or even the same guy, he said, if I take you out on a third date, you can't date anybody else. I was just like, okay. Well, I was like, well, are you dating anybody else? He was just like, well, I'm investing more than you. I was like,
How'd that work?
are you? So this is the foolishness that is happening out in these streets. So I just was just like his mentality. I think he need to go talk to the lady for sure, for sure. I just sorrows.
That
Social
stuff doesn't even work either.
Those-
Like, shoot.
Real
Social
sorrows.
media has fucked the game up. Like, fuck.
100%. 100%.
Sad out here. Would it
Very
be
sad.
a red flag if the person you're dating never wants to get married legally? They would do it spiritually, but never legal, never sign the paper.
So
I
when
don't
you
know. I don't
when
know
you
what
say
it mean. What is a spiritual?
spiritually, like would we spiritually mean with the wedding ring, you do the ceremony and everything, but you just don't sign the paper? That's
Okay,
what you mean?
Are you
so
a common law wife?
so for instance, fresh out of a divorce, and he told me he just doesn't have a desire today at this
He's
moment
bitter. He needs to go talk to the lady.
to get married again. And he's just like, I don't mind having a spiritual wedding. Like, I don't mind, like, if you want a wedding or if you want the ring, if you want those things, I'll give you all that. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I just don't want to be legally married on paper. He
He
wants
needs
to
to
be
heal.
spiritually married. And that's what I said. Yeah.
He needs to heal. That situation happened to me too. It was like two guys, and both of them one was like fresh out of a divorce. I actually met him when he was separated. And once he told me he never wanted to get married again, I kind of X'd him out. Well, not kind of, I did. So I was just like, you do you, boo. I would never talk to you again. But now that he's real, he came up to me. He was just like, "Man, when you told me that I wasn't gonna find anybody," he was just like, "I just didn't believe that." He was like, "Man, it's horrible out here." He was just like, "I would consider marrying." So his mind changed over time.
You just do.
But at that point, it's just like, boy, I'm not even interested anymore because I feel like now, is it that you want to pursue dating me because now you feel desperate, or
Yeah.
you really realize there's nothing else out here?
Trying to spin the block, yeah. Trying to
I
come,
ain't
but
spending
double.
baby, the block is closed. It's a roadblock. No, thank you.
I feel like that only type of situation only works with a certain type of person. And what I mean by that is only
Like
really
hippie.
rich people who are protecting their assets would do something like, oh, that's the only way it makes sense to me personally.
He's
Is
making
that
$30,000.
Yeah,
right? Hello. The reason why the
believe
Lord
that.
said, let there be lawyers is they could come up with stuff for that. They got paperwork for that. There is paperwork that will work for you.
Prenup, like,
Like a prenup.
I
I definitely
I
agree
guess
with a
it just,
prenup. Like,
like, Tara, like, would you want to get married again?
So the thing is I will. It is no secret, as you know, I confessed last season on this podcast, I am divorced. I got divorced many years ago, but I've gone through it. And it is a struggle. You deal with the legal ramifications of it are a lot. But I actually came out on the better end of it. But it is tough. I do understand why people don't want to do it legally. But I'm definitely, I do want to get married again. I'm never getting divorced again, though. It was too goddamn hard. It is too much to deal with. And it wasn't even for legal stuff, because again, I came out on the better side of it. So, but I understand why people don't want to do it. But to me, just because to protect assets and you ain't got that much money is not enough for me. It don't. As somebody who's gone through it before, there are lawyers to help you through this stuff. You can draw up all kind of paperwork that protects both of you. I think he might just need some time, or at least I hope he might just need some time, and he ain't bullshitting for the sake of you, my friend. You
it's
know.
like, do you
Oh,
want to sit around and wait on that?
I'm all right. Like, honestly, I feel like I'm in this very funny space. Like, I'm just so, I can't even say that I'm like really, like, my heart's really in dating for real. Like, I just feel like I'm just here, so
Yeah.
I'm not giving any full effort to anybody at this point in my life because nobody is giving me a reason to give it. When I feel like somebody's giving me that energy, then there will be reciprocity. Until then, you just gonna have to get whatever. Cause yeah,
Agreed. Same
I
here,
feel like
sister. Same here.
Marlo, dating has drained me. I'm just tired. Shit, like, I ain't got it for you. I ain't got it for you right now.
It's exhausting.
It is like literally, physically, emotionally, mentally. Like it's a lot. Like, and I ain't got it for for anybody.
Mm-mm.
Would it be a red flag if the person has been married and divorced more than once by the time you date them?
Yeah. Like what's going on over there in your camp?
Is he open to marriage again?
Yeah.
Uh,
he loves love, then he'd probably get my
Does
heart.
he, or is something wrong with him?
Could be. I would have to
It's like
probably be
he's
the idiot
rushing
to figure
into
that out.
stuff. Do you love, or
Right,
do you
but
force
why is
it?
it failing? I mean,
Exactly.
getting to know him, I guess I would make my decision, but I would need to get deep down in there. Why you married twice and it none work? First,
Yeah.
second, like what's going on? Because by the first one, the second one, you should be like, okay, I know what my mistakes were, and I'm applying it to my second.
What
But
if,
what's going on?
especially if they were short marriages, like a year, 2 years, like
Even worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the shorter, if they're short marriages, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Particularly because it's so you ain't even got to go through the rigmarole of getting married if you're just gonna be done in 7 to 11 months. Like at least mine was 5.5 years. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't have to deal with. It's a red flag if it's too short for me. Because why are you even going through all of this? And how many assets do you have that you got to keep divorced? Because what's good? Well, I don't know. That might
Right.
be plus. Shit, we'll
And
see.
that would
I
make
would
me
just have to look at
question.
everything all
Yeah, and
together.
it would
Because
make me question if he's a quitter too. Like, is this you just running and not working through stuff? Like,
he
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of
that is
talks
true.
about
or
her.
and then I always wonder, like, was it really you that initiated? Because when guys tell me like they initiated it, and I just wonder, because you'll never know the other side, you know what I mean? So
You
you'll never
could.
know, or did they just not want to be with you once they got to marry you and got to know you, you know? Did they file for divorce? Because you'll never know. All you'll know is that person and have their word. So that gets a little tricky too.
Hmm.
Is it a red flag if a person has a history of dishonesty or infidelity in their previous relationships, even if they claim to have changed? Because I feel like we all dated one of them.
I mean, are they upfront and honest about it? Because sometimes I feel like if you're upfront and honest about you cheating, like, oh yeah, I cheated in my previous relationships, but that was when I was younger. I'm really about monogamy right now and things like that. Like I'm that might be a yellow flag.
right.
What
Yeah,
if
but
they're
you're still gonna look at him sideways.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm
like,
like,
It's
what
gonna be
if
in the back of your mind.
they're honest about the fact that they have never been faithful to anybody, but they want to be faithful to you?
No,
well, then
That
you need to go talk to the
not
lady.
even. No.
That's
Talk
so tricky. Cause like as someone who has cheated in the past, I have been honest about, hey, this is what I've done, but I was also, significantly younger back then. So is I don't know, it's kind of hard. Now, if I'm like, damn, you couldn't be honest to anybody, I'm all about the thing that kind of gets me going is real like personal connection. So it's like, okay, if you tell me if you tell me you ain't been honest with nobody, but then you honest with me, you're gonna get some points there. But then I'm also like, damn, nobody?
Right.
That might be his same speech and spiel to the previous person.
Right. Hmm.
That probably is the same speech.
Yeah.
You
Because if you've been cheating all this time, you've been lying all this time too. So
And chances are you got real good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
go ahead and say
hiding
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red flag.
Yeah, red flag, actually.
Across the board. All right. Okay, so now as a part of the show, we turn the tables and allow our guests to take the reins, and you guys get to ask me a question that I must answer. Anything you guys want to revisit? Any questions you got? Lay it on me since I've been grilling y'all all night.
I have one.
Okay.
And this happened very recently. I was out and this guy, he's pretty popular, but he's an older man, right? A very attractive older man. And all the women, you know what I'm saying? He's attractive. Anyways, I know previously I've been like, listen, I've been at the age where I'm at the age now where I could date a father and a son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it now, when it's not now, he's a father and he's probably a grandpa. So I'm looking at him and I'm just thinking to myself, like, his hands are really old. He's probably seen civil rights. And I just really couldn't wrap my mind around. I was like, he wants to touch me. He's 3 years younger than my father. Like I was just,
3 years, girl. Woo.
It was a lot. So whereas I really thought that I could date an older man,
Mhm.
I said, Corey, stop chasing the waterfalls in the geriatric pool and stick to the rivers and lakes that you are used to, sister, because you cannot date an older man. Like it's just not in me. So would you be able to date someone that was older than you, like 20 plus years older than you?
I think on purpose my cutoff would be like 48-ish. Now, by accident, I did date somebody that was 55 this year. I didn't know because he
Oh,
looked real good. Like he looked real good. Like he was
uh,
young. But that didn't work out because divorce, getting out of divorce, it was very messy. Kids, custody. He had little kids though, which was interesting. But yeah, he had too much going on. But had he not had those things, I probably would have because he had his stuff together. We had a good time. We had great conversations. I mean, he pulled the chairs out, he opened the doors, opened the car doors, took care of dinner like he was a man, you know? It's like what you would how you would want to be treated. Reliable, early, like drove everywhere, picked me up,
okay.
you know? So,
That's what Papa's
yeah.
supposed to do. But
Yeah.
when it's time to give sugar,
I mean only because like he didn't look now you saying he looked oh, this man didn't look
no,
but
he looks good. He's an older, fine, silver fox man.
With hands like steel.
I don't know if he
He
could
had
be that close
really,
to my dad's age though. That would freak me out. That's why I'm just
it
like,
was
I'm
really
if
like,
I'm
once
at
I
his
really stepped back and thought about it, I was like, you can't do this. Girl,
Right.
stop. Like, this is not, like, no, I couldn't bring him to no family functions. I haven't called him since.
yeah, I mean, I actually prefer to date older men all my life, actually.
5 years, 10 years at max. 10 years is my max.
That's not bad. 5 years, 10 years is not bad.
Well,
Yeah.
when I was
Not bad.
23, I was dating a guy that was when I was 22, actually, maybe 21. He was 36, and he was actually my date to my sister's wedding. Like my family was cool with it too. Like, and and
Okay.
it continued for a little bit. I told that story in the last podcast. Child, we continued until I figured out he was married, and we had like just gone on a date. And like when one of my friends' cousins was in town, and she was older. She was his age. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I used to run these DC streets." I was like, "Oh, you might know him. He ain't got no social media or nothing." So I had to Google him. And when I Googled him, his wedding website came up. And I was
Wow.
like, "We just went on a date 3 months ago, my friend. 3 months ago."
Wedding website. Are you meaning like a registry or
You
like
know how they have like the announcement? Like, yeah. Yeah, but it
That's
was old.
Oh,
It was old. So they had already gotten married at that point. So
right?
right.
I was like, ain't this something? But yeah, but
I
that's
never
that's a testament to does age even really make a difference sometimes with men? Because he was
not
No.
with I don't think with them it doesn't, but with me, yes. Can't do it. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I think so. My question would be, especially for dating in the big city, do you feel like there are dating apps that you prefer over other apps? Do you feel like there's some like creme de la creme on one side, and maybe there's apps that you would avoid? What do you think?
at this point, I would avoid all the apps because
So
they don't
no apps.
work.
No apps. No
No,
apps.
because I feel like what I've come to realize, especially up here, what I've come to realize, like at a point I did have a preference and I thought Hinge was the better fit. But the guys up there are just so predatory. It's just like easy for them. And then me and some of my girlfriends, like we would match with the same guys and they'd be saying the same shit. And I realized like they would like get together and they would just be wanting to like have sex real quick. Like the conversations were strange. And I would come across them and I'm just like, but they're always on there. It's like easy pickings for them because all these women who are looking for love in a relationship, all right here in
Yeah.
my pocket. And all I have to do is match with you. And then we can have a conversation and I can get you out and we can, you know. So I would not. I'm so sick of the app. I don't want to be on the phone. Like I just that's one. I think that's part of what drained me. Like even having that little like bit of hope, like maybe there's one person on this app that acts right. And the last time that I tried the app, which is my final time of like, yeah, this is just not it. This guy, I was like, oh, he looks nice. Like I've never seen him on the app before. We got on a phone call, and within 5 minutes, it was a wrap. Like he got so defensive out the gate,
See,
and I was like, wow, this is why I don't date niggas from the Bronx. Like they all, listen. I'm not trying to like blanket,
no, no, I'm with you.
but
The
it's
minute they
true.
start bashing women, the minute they start saying, you know, these girls nowadays, these girls,
Hate women.
y'all women.
Like
We
they don't
hate
take
women.
accountability for stuff. Like they
Mm-mm.
just like real sensitive, and it's just
Mm-mm.
I can't be with someone who doesn't want a partner that's gonna hold them accountable. Like I want you to call me on my shit. If I'm at, please do. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for, to better each other. Like if I know you on bullshit, I'm not just gonna be like clapping for you while you on bullshit. Like no, like let's get it together, friend. We ain't gonna do that. I don't know. I don't
But
like it.
Jody, just because we're OGs and we are off the apps, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get on the apps. I
Don't
Y'all
really
not,
feel
y'all not convincing me, especially
you
when
should
it
get
comes
on
to
there, or at least get on there to realize that you don't want to be on there. You just never know. I
Mhm.
listen. I love love. I feel like you can meet your man and your man, and I would be at your wedding, girl. I would be like, cause Kari told. What did Big Kari tell you? Get on the app.
no. This is what you guys could do. You touch Terrell, Ollie, get set a little function up like a little speed dating situation because I want to see the person.
Yeah.
I gotta see you. I gotta look at you. I gotta feel your energy. I
Thank
You
want to
know,
look
that's
at
actually very
I want to
interesting.
look into
I don't.
your eyes. Bring some people in that you know are in the same space that we are, the same part in life. You know, they're looking for a partner, and I'll be up for that. I'll be up for something like that. But the app, I don't know.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I haven't done any like proper research as far as like how to speed date or like because I'm sure those things do exist in New York. I've never done it in person. I don't know. Maybe it's because my anxiety be anxietying. So I don't know if I've ever done it in person, but I think I'm gonna try to look. I'm gonna try it and report back.
My sister's best friend did that, and that's how she met her husband. And they have 2 kids, and they're
You know
married. Yeah,
what? Excuse
in
me.
See,
Atlanta,
I'm
they
not
do.
opposed to doing that. I will do that. I without even a second. I would do that.
I'll just be like
I've never even
speeddate.com.
seen. Really, because if you find something, you let me know.
Are you looking it up?
At this point, I'm trying anything. Shit, what's good?
You guys should set it up. Like throw the net out there. So who's
I mean,
single?
but the problem would be finding men.
Right.
Hello.
Right. I was
That's
like, what
always
it
still
is?
going to be the problem. Like
Yeah.
finding
Yeah.
quality men that you ready
Quality. You
to
can
date.
find quantity. I can go outside right now and find it. Right now.
Yeah, yeah. Amen.
But I don't
You
know if
might
they're
be
gonna be quality.
because even at a function I just went to, like a friend had like a get together at their house, and again they were asking me like, "What's your dating experience been like since you moved to New York?" And I was just telling them it's been horrendous. You know what I mean? And they're like New Yorkers,
Non-existent.
and he was just like, but he's single. I was just like, I'm about to prove my point, and I was like, so are you single? He was like, yeah, and I was just like, well, why do you think you're single? And he was into polygamy, like I was like, my friend, you are proving my point. Like this is all I'm running into: guys who don't want to commit. Guys who want to have that cake and eat it too. They want you to have a baby, but they don't want you to be their wife. Like you want to commit to having a baby with me and be tied to me for the rest of my life with a child, with another little person, but you don't want to commit to being in a relationship with me. Like, no.
Niggas don't even be having enough
No, they
eggplant
say
for one person
they want
to be going
traditional.
out trying
They
to
want
spread it with
traditional.
a whole bunch of people. It's like, sir, you need to relax. And it's like, what is your reasoning for wanting polygamy? Like, I've had so many people talk to me about that, and I just feel like that's really just kind of like a cop out for you wanting to be a hoe. Like, you don't want to say like I'm outside and I'm trying to have sex with multiple women, so you just be like, oh, I'm into polygamy. It's not a flex.
At
It's
all.
not a flex.
Yeah,
Certain
because you don't
people
even
find
have
this
to
term.
be. You don't have to be tied to nobody to do that. If you want to go fuck around, just go fuck around.
Date, like,
That's your
Yeah,
business.
just go. Don't. You ain't gotta involve me in that.
exactly.
Have me trying to be a sister wife. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Weirdo.
Ugh. It's so
Right.
much. It's so much out here in these streets. I'm sorry.
I'm familiar with the situation, so I would ask you what you would do.
Okay.
Girl met a guy, click, good vibe, they connect. They've been talking, on the phone, texting, met up, all the good stuff, and they get along really well. And she kind of said, she's like, oh my God, she's like, we didn't even have the conversation as if he's seen people or because I really like him. I guess he hasn't asked me, I haven't asked him. And she asked him, but Teresa, you're not seeing anyone, right? Because she knew he wasn't married. She knew that, but she didn't know if he was seeing anyone or has a girlfriend. So she said, so I said, ask him. She asked him, and you're not seeing anyone, right? You have a girlfriend? He said, yeah, I do. And she's like, so he's like, well, you didn't ask me.
Oh wow.
So at this point, at that stage where they were at, she was like, I like him so much. And she was considering
Being a sister wife.
being the side slice. So what would you do? Would you cut out, but you like him so much at that point? Or would you try to steal him from homegirl? What you doing?
No, I mean, listen, how you get them is how you lose them.
Because I said to her, because I felt bad, because I said,
Because if he's
try to steal him. I don't know. I didn't know what to say. She liked him so much. I mean,
but
I
even
know
if she gets him, say she gets him, who's to say that homegirl won't try to steal him back? Like, or somebody else might
somebody
be in. Like, if he'll do that with her and then drop his other relationship, why wouldn't he do that with someone else? Why wouldn't he be out here moving single? Because clearly he was out here moving single for her to feel like he was available in the first place. So
and
if
doing
he
stuff.
might be with you, just like he's with homegirl now, and still be out here in these streets moving single. So who's to say that he won't catch somebody else's eye and somebody else have that same energy? Well, I just like him so much by now because I just found out he had a girlfriend. But I like him. I'm invested now, so I'm gonna make him mine. Who's to say like this will be like a never-ending cycle?
Right. And she was invested. And
So,
he wasn't, and I guess the sprinkle on the top of it was, the cherry on top was, he wasn't broke either.
those be the worst
That's
ones.
why she was invested. Okay, it makes sense now.
I mean,
Yeah,
listen.
he wasn't broke, and she really liked him. So she got caught up in it. She was invested by the time they figured it all out.
I feel like most men in those positions, if they aren't going to be anything, they're going to be consistent, especially if they have money. So it's still a lose-lose. It's still a lose-lose.
Because if he was just out here freely acting single in a relationship, like that's like a super red
And
flag.
he expected you to deal with it because he got some money.
But his response was, "Well, you never asked."
Yeah, his response was, we didn't talk about it. You never asked, so I thought we would just.
Why I gotta ask?
Why do I have to ask
So
you?
who
You should
knows
be
what
upfront.
So he's a liar by omission. So who knows what else he's omitting about his life? Who else he's involved with? What else he got going on? So that's crazy.
And now I gotta get omitted to jail for slitting your throat. I don't have time for that.
Violence is not the answer, Terrell. Come on now.
Bob.
No, that's wild. She would be doing herself a disservice by investing more time and effort and energy into a man that is never going to be fully hers.
Yeah, she's blocking her
Like
blessings
she's
from the
forever
man
gonna
that's really could be for her.
I mean, and maybe some women are okay with that. Because I do feel like I know some women who are okay with knowing that they'll never be the only woman in a man's life, but they want this man so bad that they'll be with it. Like they might be married to him and everything, but they know that they step out and they do what they do. So I mean, it's
Are
up
they
to
loyal?
you. Gotta, huh?
Are those women loyal to them?
Yeah, because
That's
they
awesome.
want
They're the most
as
loyal
a
ones.
husband and a steady life, which is what they wanted. But they know that he still does what he does when he wants to do it. Yeah.
I'd rather eat a barbecue brick. I'm sorry. Boy, you got me all the way messed up. Like, ain't no way.
I mean,
Ain't no way.
Sometimes, like some women just get so caught up in just, I love this man, or you want somebody so bad that you'll just accept whatever crumbs they give you.
Mm-mm.
I'm
Yeah.
about to ask Chat GPT how to barbecue a brick. I have
Delicious.
questions.
Delicious. Because that's the only thing. I'm cutting that motherfucker with a steak knife. You got me messed up, sir. Alright.
If y'all done with the questions, those are good questions. I appreciated those. Good scenarios. So thank y'all so much for lending me your time this evening. This has been a great conversation. So if the people want to slide into your DMs, because y'all like that? Y'all like that?
What kind of people?
I don't know. We see who listening, who watching. They might like what they see or what they hear. So you
Yeah.
want to tell the people where they can find you? Why don't we start with you, Jodi?
I thought Terrell said we're not giving out Instagram on.
We find the love everywhere.
Terrell, so we're giving out Instagram? What we're doing?
Well, my socials are the same as before. TLJ, THE, the number 3 RD on anywhere with an @ symbol. If you hit me up, be ready for that action because I got it for you. So it's good.
I like that. But be ready for the action.
Listen, the
Okay.
people of this program are very familiar with my antics, so they know what they're signing up for.
Okay. Mine is where, like if you're saying where is whoever, where is _ Jodi. Jodi, not Y.
Mine is at KariEvettete at Kari Yvette. I mean, if you want to be friends, we could be friends. I mean, but that's it.
She ain't looking for
You're just
love.
looking for friendship.
Yeah.
Friendship?
Yeah. I mean, because right now it's me and Jesus. That's my man, my man, my man. At this point, I'm ready for the rapture. Wait, no, because I'm like, you know what?
Okay, well, that does it for this episode. Please be sure to download the Secrets of the Opposite Sex app to play from home, subscribe to the podcast, and check out our YouTube channel for extended episodes. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.